Hello, guys, and welcome to a special interview segment of the Fight Nation EX UK podcast. Now, today, I've got a very, very special guest, and who's probably stirred up probably one of the most biggest revolutions of a character being used at a tournament. I've got, I can't remember how you pronounce your name. It's how about you go introduce yourself?
How you doing? My real name is Ryan Burke, and the gamer name that I use in tournaments is Inthul, Inthul, and it's the team that I'm in is DMG, so just DMG Inthul.
Probably one of the Infill has been played, he's played at some tournaments, but the biggest one that's really got him recognised and is probably one of his best tournaments to date was East Coast Throwdown 2, which happened not too long ago. And man, in Infill, that was crazy.
It was really crazy. I still smile just thinking about the tournament, and it was a really good tournament for me.
Now, Mill, my co-host for the podcast, he used to be a pad warrior. Can you just go ahead and clarify what pad you use? Because this has been flying around. Post things people have been flying around. I've been talking to recently from Fight Nation US and the UK side. What do you use to fight to play Street Fighter with?
When I am on an Xbox, I just use a regular Xbox 360 controller, and if I'm playing on a PS3, I just use the regular PS3 controller. I don't use Mad Cats. I don't use the Sega Saturn pad. I just use the regular controllers.
Wow. Which one do you prefer, PS3 or Xbox?
Um, they both each controller has their own advantages. The Xbox 360 controller has diagonals, and the advantage of having diagonals is Fei Long has a move called Chicken Wing. It's like a flip kick that he has, and on the 360 you can flick those out really fast because it has diagonals. So you can be pretty sloppy on the execution for doing Chicken Wing. You can really flick them out fast, but for the PS3 one, there's no diagonals, and to do super, the down forward motion, and to do Rekkas and just most of his combos, it's easier to do on a PS3. So I tend to prefer the PS3 controller just because the D-pad's a little more sensitive, but sometimes I try to do chicken wing on a PS3 and I'll end up just kicking. So uh,
Hmm.
and I'm used to a 360. I always play on 360.
All right. Very
But
good.
I'm starting to like the PS3 controller a little more.
All right. Um, a big thing because I've been to France and have you only used the PS3 pad? Because in France they use the old school no analog PS1 pad, and some people on that are crazy. Like Luffy, he is nuts on a pad that is has no analog. It's just an old school first edition PS1 pad, and it's
Yeah, I
nuts.
would like to use that, but are you able to plug that into a PS3?
The way they use in France that I was seeing, they had these converters because we were playing on Xbox at the time at Bushido Impact 9 or 11, I think it was one of those two, and they had this converter that was a USB, and what you did is you plugged that into the Xbox, and then you had then plugged the PS1 into the front of that pad into the front of that, and then on the side it had another USB where you plug in a USB Xbox um, pad, and that's how it got to it recognize it on the Xbox. I would assume it does it for the same as PS3, but it's this converter, and I don't know what the name of the converter is. Someone might better help me out, but that is what they were using. This converter that could pretty much make it become a PS3 or Xbox pad, which is nuts.
Oh wow. Okay, I have a converter that lets you use an Xbox 360 controller on a PS3, but there's input delay.
Mm.
There's delay. So if I jab or anything, the input will come out like a quarter of a second later, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for anyone who really plays Street Fighter hardcore, like any kind of input delay messes you up.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
it was
I'm trying to learn Makoto, and for Fei Long as well, you've got those jab short links into Rekkas, and for Makoto and especially Fei Long, if you miss one, it's either a punish or something else, and those crucial quarter of a second could mean win or loss. You know.
Yeah.
So talking about East Coast Throwdown. I mean, what were the big highlights of your besides the perfect on Stafford Kelly? What were the big highlights for that tournament for you?
Um, Beating Arturo Sanchez was really big for me. That was probably the toughest fight I've ever been in since I've played Street Fighter, or in even maybe my like entire fighting game career, like my whole history of playing fighting games. That was probably my hardest fight. Um, so because I ended up finishing the fight when I had an opportunity. Like I didn't freeze up. I played solid throughout the whole fight. I feel like I leveled up a lot right after I fought him. Like I feel like I just got a lot better as a player. Beating Sanford was really big for me. Sanford's been one of my rivals here, and he's one out of the two rivals that I have. And beating him was really good because I've practiced for a while just to beat him, and it was good for me. Probably those were the two biggest. Yeah, just beating those two, and just the fact that I did very well against some really good players. I
Hmm.
felt I leveled up a lot right after that tournament. I feel like I'm
Ah,
a much better player now.
interesting. I mean, because us on the stream, we could only see the main play screen. What was the tournament layout? Because it was obviously from the looks of people and the camera views from the crowd, there was a lot of people there. Was it just a bracket, or was it like groups to bracket, or whatever? Like, because in the
They
UK we have groups to bracket.
Groups to bracket. Well, how I think there was like 276 people there, and they divide all of those people into they're called pools. Just they divide them into like 8 small groups. I'm not sure if it was 8. It might have been like 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. But they divide all of those people into smaller groups called pools, and then you have to fight everyone in those pools, and then the winner goes on to fight like the winner of all the other pools, and then that's pretty much how it was set up there. And
Ah,
the
so
the,
yeah, similar to the UK. 'Cause that's
the
how
pool that
we
I
got.
was in had like the best players in the tournament, except like Sanford and Justin Wong. Like the pool that I was in was very difficult. I had to beat some really good players to get out of it, and it was definitely a challenge. It was not easy.